Hello, today I'm going over Monterey Bay Canyon lecture. Monterey Bay is in California, south of San Francisco. And if you're familiar with the area, Monterey is right here where I'm putting this star. Santa Cruz is right up here. And underwater, because this is the land, underwater is this giant canyon that snakes down from the coast down into the ocean. A very unusual feature because of how extensive this canyon is, and it's only a couple of miles offshore. So, Monterey Bay is a wonder of biodiversity thanks to upwelling and kelp forest ecosystems. However, one of the less known features of this area is an underwater canyon that rivals the size of the Grand Canyon. And that's what we see here snaking down, right? This is the big giant canyon. Now, most of this area is very shallow, not deep at all, but that canyon can get thousands of feet deep. Here I've got an image that compares Monterey Canyon to the Grand Canyon for depth, and they're pretty similar. Grand Canyon might be a little bit wider here than the Monterey Canyon, but the depths are equivalent. They're very similar. The Monterey Canyon is over a mile deep, just a few hundred feet less than the Grand Canyon. The canyon extends from the shallow continental shelf to the deep abyssal plain. So it starts up here. This is all the shelf, which is this kind of, this area is not very deep along the coast. And then once you get out, it takes a steep drop and then it flattens out again out in the abyssal plain. So let's continue. And here we're talking about how these canyons form because it's different than how the Grand Canyon formed. The Grand Canyon has the Colorado River flowing through it, and slowly over time, the Colorado River eats away at the floor of the Grand Canyon, making it deeper and deeper. Well, underwater canyons are generally caused by what we call turbidity currents. What happens here is we're up near the shore, a continental shelf, and the sediment starts to accumulate, lots of mud and silt. Well, it can be unstable, and it tends to collapse all at the same time. So all that unstable mud and silt, all of a sudden a big rush of it moves down this slope into the abyssal plain. Turbidity currents helped form the underwater canyon. Turbidity currents form when there are large amounts of sediment mixed with water, causing the sediment to be loose and unstable. And when this happens, we're going to start to form a canyon. That's what we see down here. In this image, you have some images of these turbidity currents, large amounts of sediment falling off what looks like a cliff. But when they fall off here, all of that material starts to form a little gap. And we see that smaller one here. Well, over time, the more and more it happens, that gap gets deeper and longer. So, and this is sudden things. This doesn't happen gradually. It's kind of like you'll get turbidity currents at one point in time, and then it won't happen again for a long period of time, and then you'll get more turbidity currents. And there's these pauses in between. Turbidity currents are like avalanches underwater. When large amounts of sediment are suddenly released, the gap starts to form a canyon. Now, Monterey Bay is known for sea otters, kelp forests, and many of these creatures live among the kelp forest. But this is all shallow. You know, we're talking from the surface down to 100 feet. So this incredible diversity of life that's up near the surface. But because of the canyon, only a mile or two away from shore, where it drops down deeper than 1,000 feet, in that canyon you get some very unusual deep water creatures. Researchers only have to go a few miles offshore to discover unusual creatures living in the depths of the canyon. This fang-toothed fish has large teeth to quickly trap fish that swim near in the darkness of the canyon. So as you would expect, all these creatures that are living down in the depths of the canyon stay down there. There's no appreciable amount of light. It's dark all the time. So they're all adapted to this lifestyle where the creatures that like the rockfish and sea anemones and things like that are adapted to life near the surface have adaptations that help them in those environments. And then the last one here, the blood belly comb jelly is largely transparent. Their red color helps to be nearly invisible to predators at the canyon depths. So down in the deep, red comes out as, because of the lack of light, red comes out as black. And so these creatures are adapted to be basically invisible when they're down in that environment. Okay, I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.